Good morning. I'm here today to share an extraordinary opportunity that the Smithsonian Institution has extended to the video game industry. To put it in perspective, think about this. Orville Wright wrote the Smithsonian in 1899 to ask for available material on flying machines. Just 4 years later, Kitty Hawk changed the world. But the fundamental question is, how did two brothers working alone with no formal education solve the complex problems of flight that had bedeviled mankind for over 2,000 years? We will never know. Nor will we ever know the genesis of radio or television or even film, as those pioneers from those industries were long gone before anyone thought to capture their stories. Video games influence social transformation. The science behind games has created a fourth wave, where game technologies are repurposed for education, simulation, the military, space, aviation, medicine, to name just a few. Video games are one of the reasons that smartphones exist, that computers are portable, that graphics are photorealistic, and that memory is so cheap. How do we prevent these important threads from becoming lost in the fabric of history? The Smithsonian has offered us an answer. One of the greatest institutions in the world agrees that the story behind the birth of video games is too precious to lose. And it has committed to preserving that story for future generations. The Lemelson Center for the Study of Invention and Innovation has already begun this exciting initiative to record the pioneers of the video game industry in their own words. Unlike film and radio and television, most early creators of the video game industry are still able to tell their stories at a level of detail that informs not only how inventions are made, but the unique characteristics of the inventors who make them. The initial recordings that we've made have surpassed our wildest expectations. We have so much material now on the record. We've uncovered so many things that have never been heard or seen before. So you can understand why we're excited, but we're only just beginning. The timing is right, but urgent. We've lost some important voices recently, including Ralph Baer, the father of the industry. But thankfully, most of the first-generation pioneers are still here to tell their inspiring stories. Through the Video Game Pioneers Archive, we also hope to capture the hidden side of invention and to preserve it for future generations of researchers and historians and the public. We are preserving the essence of creation by understanding the inventors and their inspirations. We believe it will help us understand the nuances of what all inventors experience in the process. Our leap into the unknown recording of the birth of an industry tells the unfiltered story of its roots. You have to understand that this effort is a landmark initiative in pointing the way that technology history will be recorded for the future. Beyond the archive, our plans include a television documentary series, books and publications, virtual, permanent, and traveling exhibits around the world. Our advisory group is unique, with industry luminaries contributing their time and expertise in conjunction with otherwise competitive museums and libraries who are working cooperatively for the common good given the importance of the cause. Let me show you a small overview of the project.
How many failures before there was light?
My name's Steve Russell.
I'm Don Daglow.
My name is Brenda Laurel.
I'm Peter Sampson.
My name is Richard Garriott.
For the first time, we follow the birth of an industry. What went right, what went wrong, in the unfiltered words of its pioneers.
Some people will say this spawned the computer game industry.
The policy was that space war is absolutely the lowest priority. Why don't you do it?
People will, for the first time, get to hear in depth what the inventors themselves thought, their own account of that story.
There were many people who didn't see the value of video games, but it's rapidly grown to be the largest media industry of its type in the world in the shortest period of time.
This giant of media and technology, larger than the film and music industries combined, will reflect on its humble beginnings, while there is still time.
We did not have an ultimate goal.
We can make those machines do things the hardware engineers never thought of.
This woman is dangerous.
Players who play the most modern one of my games can feel the roots that go all the way back to the beginning of the industry.
We know now that a lot of people saw it.
I was putting one foot in front of the other.
We thought it was being taken away from us.
I haven't given up.
I now have a purpose.
And they say, oh, you worked on that game. Oh, I love that game.
This project isn't just about how people play games, but also what the games mean for a broader public.
And hopefully our stories will inspire them to do something greater than we ever have.
We tried to make sure that everything about the world was simulated.
At first you felt special.
People are going to say, I wished I'd known. What was motivating the great life?
After about a year into this life, I really grew here.
The Video Game Pioneers Archive, building the legacy into the future.
Some years ago, while visiting him in his Manchester home, Ralph Baer told me that although he'd been interviewed hundreds and hundreds of times, he felt no one ever had asked him the right questions. So we're following his lead, and we're asking the right questions. And we're counting on your stories and your ideas and your support to make this effort as powerful and unique as our industry. This is our legacy. Larger and more important than any game platform, any game company, because ultimately this initiative is about you, the creators. Let us make history together. Thank you.